Technology is changing up our world in amazing ways, and one of the places where technology is really coming in and changing our lives is on the manifest side of things. And manifesting means you've got to be bringing the students in, getting their waivers, taking all the information, taking money, billing things out, repack cycles, everything. And Matt, you've got quite a solution for that in the real DROPZONE software.
Absolutely. I've spent a good amount of time over the last 8 years putting together a software solution to help DROPZONEs do, at this point, absolutely everything. The objective was to have a single software solution that could manage all of the information necessary in a DROPZONE, from reservations, online, telephone reservations, walk-ins, to the check-in process when you're trying to identify if a student needs to be waivered, needs to make a payment, who they're going to jump with, all the way to the time when you're manifesting them, where you're dragging them over to a load, dragging an instructor over to a load, and then finally communicating that manifest information with the instructors and the students when they need to know it, whether it be through a website or a mobile device or a screen that's posted out where the instructors would be looking at it.
So tell me a little bit about how the system works. If I'm a DROPZONE owner, tell me a little bit about what I need to know in order to have your system on my DROPZONE.
Well, what you need to know is that it saves time, it gives you the opportunity to improve your customer service, and it gives you a lot of sales potential as well. If you're not using this product, there's a really good chance that you spend an awful lot of time doing double entry, which means that you're using multiple systems, maybe a separate online reservation system and an Excel spreadsheet where you're keeping track of your phone calls, and a manifest system that is disconnected from the reservation system, and you're spending a lot of time writing customer names down, you're spending a lot of time putting birthdays in, putting your emails in, collecting your emails if you're collecting your emails, if you've got the time for that. And if you don't have the time for that, you're really missing out on a great sales opportunity. And then finally, taking all the information that's been collected and putting it in the right place at the right time. So because a lot of the other products out there have you spending a significant amount of time typing the same information in over and over again, you end up sacrificing customer service. And so your staff members are able to spend a lot less time thinking about the details and more time thinking about what the customer wants to hear, what the customer wants to say, and then directing them onto where they should be to make their skydive, which is what they're there for.
It does a lot of things, so that tells me it's going to be very expensive.
Well, it's not. The way that I price the product is based on a percentage, and so it scales to the size of a DROPZONE. We've got very small DROPZONEs running the product. Skydive Columbus has a couple of Cessnas, and they run on weekends only. We've got very large DROPZONEs running the product. Skydive Hawaii does over 20,000 tandems a year, and so the price is 0.35% of all of your student gross. Doesn't include licensed jumpers, doesn't include manifest. It's just your student gross. And that's it. There's no hidden fees.
Okay. And one of the things that you mentioned Skydive Hawaii. So one of the things that really impressed me, I've seen the system in operation in Hawaii, and that's I think where I got really turned on to what you're doing. We've chatted online a little bit over the last few years, but seeing Hawaii, it's a totally paperless operation. And Frank said something about 3 tons of paper have been saved. Come on, 3 tons?
Well, they've done. I'm guessing, based on monthly numbers, I haven't looked in the last couple of months, probably about 23,000 waivers or tandems since we've implemented this system. And their waiver was 9 pages each. So that's an awful lot of paper. I don't know that it was necessarily 3 tons, but that's a lot of paper. The cost that it takes to print that paper, the cost that it takes to print the staples, at that quantity you're actually costing dollars in staples. The time that it takes to prepare them, load them up into clipboards, the time that it takes to move them to the basement or wherever you're going to keep track of them for 3 to 7 years, depending on the state that you're in. There really are a lot of expenses that you don't consider when it comes to using papers. The electronic signature technique has been used in a lot of industries already. It's used in real estate for billion-dollar operations, and we made it work for skydiving.
I see you've got one of the signature pads there in your hand.
So of course, there's a computer that you would attach to this, but this is what collects the signature at the time that they're signing. One of the interesting things about it that you may not see, that's actually embedded in any electronic signature that you might have done before, such as UPS. So you've probably seen the UPS tablets and you write your name on it and it looks ugly. And you think, how can anybody possibly identify that as my signature? But the interesting thing about it is they're actually recording in very high definition the velocity of your pen stroke, how hard you're depressing, and they can replay your signature in exact detail. You can't see it, they don't put the money towards the display, but they can absolutely guarantee that it was that person, because nobody, you can forge a signature if you spend enough time, but nobody can forge the muscle movements and the twitches that you're used to doing when you sign your name.
So it sounds a little bit more accurate than even a fingerprint.
In many ways, absolutely. I guess it depends on how you record the fingerprint.
So what's the benefit of this system for up jumpers, for fun jumpers?
Well, the benefit for fun jumpers is that it's a lot easier to get manifested. Your manifest staff is a little less stressed. They're smiling, they're happy, and it's very easy for the manifest staff to place jumpers on loads, to move them around. You can also communicate what type of jump it's going to be. So maybe John walks up to the counter, he's going to organize a tracking dive. So out there on the manifest in the hangar, you see John's tracking dive, and another fun jumper walks in for the day, sees that on the board, finds John and says, hey, can I be on your tracking dive? And so it actually encourages some organizing as well.
If it's displaying, that tells me that you can ship it out to external ports. Can I monitor manifest on my smartphone?
Absolutely. If you're interested in the flight loads, there's a URL that you can publish as a drop zone. It's a couple of drop zones running my software have chosen to publish it, so that you can just simply visit that site on your iPad, on your iPhone, on your Android, any mobile connected device. In fact, a lot of pilots are using it now on the plane to see who's going to be on their next load.
So they're using their smartphone as a manifest sheet, so to speak.
Why not?
More paper safe.
Absolutely.
Well, Matt, is there anything you want to share with people before we walk away?
Well, let's see. We've got a lot of products for the skydiving industry. We've got the real DROPZONE product. We also have the waiverless system, or the paperless system. The paperless system can be implemented with or without real DROPZONE. We also have a new product that we just went live with this year that helps to manage rigs and rig maintenance and who's packing what and when. You can do reporting on that. But finally, we're not limited to just those services. We can write custom software of any type. We do website development. We can implement a content management system for your website so that you yourself can change the site by logging on to it, making changes. We're very well versed in search engine optimization, knowing what we have to do on the back end so that search engines can give you very positive results. And let's be honest, the impression that you give on your website is a very important impression.
Like having the front end of your store.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Matt, thanks for taking the time. It's a pleasure to see you again. I think it was a little more fun seeing you down in Hawaii.
It was. The weather was a lot nicer.
Yeah, it was awesome. All right, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you down the aisle.